You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is January 10th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story of the day is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Thursday. The first thing is Powell steps up with Fed in pause mode. Federal Reserve Chairman Jeremy Powell will be in the spotlight on Thursday as investors await his remarks, with expectations that he will reaffirm that the central bank's policy is on hold while he evaluates the slowdown in global growth and recent volatility in financial markets. Powell will speak at an event at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. The lunch and program portion is slated to start at 12 p.m. Eastern, while Powell is scheduled for a joint discussion with former Fed chiefs Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke at 12:45 p.m. Powell's last appearance sent stocks soaring as he noted that the Fed could be patient on further policy tightening. Markets currently price in that the central bank will be on pause all throughout 2019 and put about a 14% chance that it will actually cut interest rates by the end of the year. Presidents of 4 of the 12 Fed regional banks on Wednesday said they wanted greater clarity on the state of the economy before extending the central bank's rate hike campaign any further. Second thing to know today is jobless claims are in focus amid the government shutdown. Despite the partial shutdown of the federal government, labor market data will still be released on Thursday. Weekly initial jobless claims are scheduled for 8:30 a.m. Eastern and may have outsized impact on trading given the dearth of other numbers. On average, economists expect that claims for first-time unemployment benefits drop slightly to 225,000. Other data, such as new home sales, construction spending, and wholesale inventories, will all be postponed due to the partial shutdown. U.S. President Donald Trump cut short a meeting with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer over the reopening of the government as the impasse over building a wall on the southern border with Mexico remained firm. Trump called the meeting a total waste of time and said he has the absolute right to declare a national emergency to obtain funding for the wall without congressional approval. Third thing to know today is U.S. stocks are set for a breather after the 4-day rally. U.S. stocks pointed to a lower open in what would mark the end of a 4-day rally in equities. The winning streak began on Friday as Powell gave markets the impression that the Fed would pause in gradual rate hikes and was buoyed this week as optimism emerged surrounding trade negotiations between the U.S. and China. Investors were set to take profits as they await further developments in talks between the world's two largest economies. Fourth thing to note today is China points to progress in trade talks with the U.S. China and the U.S. made progress during their recent trade talks over structural issues such as forced technology transfers and intellectual property rights, China's Commerce Ministry said on Thursday. 3 days of trade negotiations wrapped up in Beijing on Wednesday, with the discussions described as positive preparation for further talks between higher-level officials from both countries, which are expected later this month. Gao Feng, spokesperson for the Chinese ministry, said that the meeting was extended for an additional day because both sides were serious about reaching a deal. The fifth thing to note today is oil stocks fall back after a 5% surge. Oil prices headed lower after jumping more than 5% on Wednesday amid optimism on U.S.-Sino trade talks. U.S. crude oil futures fell 38 cents or 0.73% to $51.98 by 6:04 Eastern Time, while Brent oil traded down 39 cents or 0.63% to $61.05. On a parallel with U.S. stocks, investors took some profit in oil on Thursday as the end of the latest round of trade talks left bulls some time to breathe ahead of further negotiations expected later this month. Our second story today is from CNBC.com. U.S. Treasury yields move lower as investors await auctions. The yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury note, which moves inversely to price, was lower at around 2.6921%, while the yield on the 30-year Treasury bond was also lower at 2.9984%. The moves in pre-market trade come after delegations from Washington and Beijing ended their 3 days of trade negotiations in China on Wednesday. The week's face-to-face meetings were the first to take place since U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to a 90-day truce last month. If both sides are unable to secure a comprehensive trade agreement by March 2nd, Trump said he plans to raise tariffs 25% from 10% and $200 billion with the Chinese imports. Our third story today is also from CNBC.com. U.S. weekly jobless claims fall more than expected. The number of Americans filing applications for jobless benefits fell more than expected last week, pointing to a strengthening labor market that could further ease concerns about the economy's health. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits fell 17,000 to a seasonally adjusted 216,000 for the week ended January 5th, the Labor Department said on Thursday. The data for the prior week was revised up to show 2,000 more applications received than previously reported. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast claims declining to 225,000 for the latest week. The Labor Department said only claims for Puerto Rico were estimated last week. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Thursday, January 10th, 2019. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a great day.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.